Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Cool. So today we'll be talking about governance and compliance in Azure. So basically, if you want to run application on Azure Cloud, there are kind of governance and compliance that you need to follow or you need to apply on it. And most of these are just basically about how the resources that will run it in your Azure environment and also the individuals who needs access or who needs to do things on Azure environment. Say in a case you want to deploy a virtual machine or you want to deploy a storage account on Azure, uh, there should be a governance and compliance around it that makes it easy to manage. And then tonight, that's what we're going to be talking about: how to administer this, how to make this work, and then the right way to do it, and the steps involved in doing such. Um, a bit of check. I would like to know if any of you already familiarize yourself in Azure, or are you new? Who is new to Azure Cloud or the cloud in general? So I presume you guys already well experienced in Azure Cloud, or
Don't assume that we are experienced on it. Just assume that we are all layman because every day we learn new things.
yes,
So you
basically
don't know
true.
what you have. So
Yeah.
let's go.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds good. So we'll look at configuring subscriptions, how to configure Azure policies, and how to configure role-based access control, so RBAC, as popularly known. And then we'll look into some lab sections, and then we'll look into, for instance, how to manage subscription and RBAC, how to manage governance via Azure policies, as well as look at a lab section on managing Azure resources with Azure portal. So we'll also look at configuring subscription and configuring Azure role resource manager manager resources. So what is Azure resource manager resources? Just basically how to manage the resource base you have on Azure environment. So that includes policies around it, and as well as the managing of, say, users and applications and resources and vice versa, and then the rights that each individual, a user, should have on a resource environment, so whether in the subscription level, on a resource level, or on a resource group level. So basically, in configuring subscriptions, we need to understand the region, and then we also look at, for instance, where do you want to run your application? Uh, Normally, the rule of thumb is that you need to run your application to the nearest region of Microsoft data centers. And within a region, there are different data centers around. So we also have to, we'll look into implementing the subscriptions, how to set it up, looking at a management group from a management group level. And then we need to identify subscription usage. We'll also get already created subscription, and then also look at creating resource groups, uh, determining resource limits. Also, we also look at creating Azure resource hierarchy, and then applying some resource tagging, so tagging for administrative purposes, and then looking at managed costs while running your application, and then we'll look at summaries. So if anyone has a question, let me know so I could address the question and then give an answer. Okay. If you have any question, you can feel free to interrupt my section, and then I'll answer your question when needed. Yeah. So I'll proceed further. Do any of you knows what is a region? Azure region, or run an application in a given Azure region across the globe?
Yeah, I do. I don't know about region, CJ.
Okay, cool. Then I don't have to go deeper on that. Cool. All right, Dosman, welcome. Put yourself on mute, please. Thank you. So in implementing Azure subscriptions, basically, we need to understand where on which tenant you want to run an application. So within a tenant, you build like a management group, and then within a management group, you have subscriptions there. So when you want to build an application on Azure environment, we build, say, from dev, UAT, or test environment, and production environment. And then you have an Azure subscription on this area. So later on a dev, you have like a bunch of virtual machine, storage, Azure functions, all those kind of things. And then you have selected use of users that need to run things or build things in it. Then further, you have the test environment, so where you do your testing, UAT, and then finally a production environment. So a subscription is just a logical unit of Azure services that is linked to any Azure account. And that's how it's for administrative purposes, and also for billing, so making it billing boundaries and security boundaries, all those kind of things. So in identifying subscription usage, Microsoft, when you're new to Azure, Microsoft can offer you free version, say like the $200 credit, which you can use for 30 days to build things on Azure Cloud and try it out. But then it's free limited access for 12 months. And then you have this pay-as-you-go model. So you pay based on what you consume, and then you can just use your credit card and just buy some subscriptions, say like $20, something like that monthly. And then when you pay when it's finished, or you can go through a CSP. A CSP is a cloud solution provider. Especially you buy a license from a CSP. So like a CSP is any company, IT company that sells Microsoft Azure licenses, or any other licenses, cloud owner or cloud vendor licenses, AWS or Google. He gets a Azure license and he sells them to you. So basically an agreement with possible discounts through a Microsoft Cloud Solution Provider partner. And then you have the enterprise. So enterprise is mostly about big companies that buys large subscriptions. So like you have one agreement with discounts for new licenses and software assurance, and that is targeted for enterprise scale organizations. And then you have for students, so which includes say like $100 for 12 months. And of which you need to verify that you have a student, so get the student access. So, like I said, the enterprise agreement, customer make upfront monetary commitment and consume services throughout the year. Resellers, so resellers is like, okay, you provide a simple but flexible way to purchase cloud services. And then the part that is with the CSP I mentioned, or you could use a personal account and get a free Azure credit. So the next one is just basically to looking at how to create resource groups. So resource can only exist in a resource group. So this is for administrative and logical managing of resources to track where resources is, and then the grouping of it. So groups can have resources on many different types. So services and from in different regions. Groups can also be renamed or nested. Resource logs can prevent changes to resources. So you can put a resource log to prevent someone to make changes on a resource. You can also move resources between groups as well. So determine resource limits. So there are like limits a resource could have. You can set it up. Say for instance, you can use say each Microsoft resources up to each quarter, and they can also use. So that means each subscription should each subscription has separate quotas and usage in extract and pass subscription. And then if you reach a quota cap, then you can request an increase via a Microsoft support line ticket and raise a ticket, and then it increases. So this is very good in case you are keen on managing costs. And then you can open a free support case to increase limits to published maximums. So in creating Azure resource hierarchies, so you have management group. So you have the management group, say like a root management group. And then in an organization, you have like the human resource department, the IT department, the marketing department, and then you have like an EA subscription on another EA subscription. So the management group actually provides a level of scope above subscriptions. So you target policies and spend budget across subscription and inheritance down the hierarchies. And then you can implement compliance and cost reporting by organization. So in applying resource tagging, you provide metadata for your Azure resources. It logically organizes resources. Say, for instance, it's okay. I created a storage account. The owner is Joe. Which department? Marketing department, and which environment? So whether a production environment or UAT environment or a dev environment. And then the market, you can also provide further information like the cost center for tracking costs and reporting costs, and who within the organization have the cost center have to pay for the consumption within a subscription environment. And tagging consists of a name value pair. So it's also very useful in billing information. So in managing costs are resource specific in the Azure environment. So you have like a usage cost may vary between locations. Costs are for inbound and outbound data transfer differs as well. And also you look at prepay with Azure reserved instances, so that can also save you cost. So these are like way to save cost as well. Using your own on-premises license with Azure Hybrid benefit, optimize with alerts, budget, and recommendations. So there are many ways to manage costs within Azure environment. So we look at configuring Azure policy. So Azure policies is just a set of rules or principles you apply on your Azure environment. And these policies can be on a subscription level, on a resource group level. Let's say in a case it's on a subscription level, anything being created or deployed by a developer on a resource group level, on a resource level, That policy is created on the resource level will guide and govern all those resources created on the resource group level and at resource level. So that's how policies work. You create policies. I'm going to show like a demonstration on how to create policies. So you create policy definitions, create and scope the initiative definition, and determine the compliance around it. A service, so implement Azure policies. So a policy is just a service to create, assign, and manage policies, runs evaluation scans for non-compliant resources. The advantages is enforcement and compliance, apply policy at scale, remediation, user cases. So it's used basically to allow resource types. So you specify the resource type that your organization can deploy. If somebody want to join, is that man? Okay, let's proceed. Also, another use case is on you require tag, you enforce a required tag and its value. So in creating Azure policies, you have the initiative definition, you have the policy definition, and you have the resources. So kind of a demonstration Azure policy. So you assign a policy, you create and assign an initiative definition, you check for the compliance, and you check for the remediation task. And then you remove your policies and initiative where needed. So in the case of this, you have a great policy definition. So many policy definitions are available. You can import policies from GitHub as well, or you make a policy definition for custom policy definition. So you can also have a specific JSON format for applying policy definitions. So in creating initial definitions, you have you have to specify a name, so a region, a description, so each region initiative definition, and then the category. And this is an example of a policy definition. So naming and region policy definition. And then next thing is to scope the initiative definition. So in scoping it, you just have to assign the definition to the scope. The scope enforces the policy. And then you select the subscription and optionally the resource group. And determine the compliance. So non-compliant initiatives, policy and resources. So why is because you need to, any resource created that doesn't fit a compliance have to be flagged. And then you can pick it out and okay, which resource in specific and what compliance measure is being affected or not being adhered to. And it evaluates and reports about once an hour. And automatic remediation is available. So next, we'll look at configuring role-based access control. So role-based access control is just popularly known as RBAC. RBAC is how to mitigate or control who has access to Azure environment or a resource subscription or resource group, and also what kind of right if you give a person a right, what level of right can a person do, looking at reader access, contributor rights, contributor access, or owner rights. So we look at comparing Azure RBAC roles to Azure AD roles. We will create a role definition. We will create a role assignment, and next we'll apply RBAC authentication, and then a demonstration Azure RBAC as well as summary and resources. So in comparing Azure RBAC roles to Azure AD roles, RBAC roles provide fine-grained access management. Azure RBAC roles manage access to Azure resources and manage access to Azure AD objects. And in the Azure RBAC rules, the scope can be specified at multiple levels. For Azure AD rules, scope is at tenant level. And the difference is that in the Azure RBAC rules, road information can be accessed in the Azure portal or Azure CLI or Azure PowerShell or Azure Resource Manager template, or raw information can be accessed in Azure portal, Microsoft 365 admin portal, etc. So also there are many built-in roles, or you can create your own custom role. So this is kind of in creating a role definition. So you have a contributor, you have owner, contributor, and reader, and RBAC. And if contributor, you assigned contributor right, the action right. So read write, authorization read write, and the person also can make a delete write as well. So in creating a role assignment, so you just basically into process of it's a process of binding a role definition to a user, group, or service principal at scope for the purpose of granting access. So security principle for user, group, or service principal. And there's a role definition, whether owner, contributor, or reader, or backup operator or security reader, and a role assignment. So you assign the role contributor right, let's say contributor right, and the scope. So the scope could be on the management group level. So these are hierarchical. On a subscription level, resource group level, or in a resource level. So in apply RBAC authentication, you have like a global admin roles, as well as an Azure Active Directory tenant, in an Azure Active Directory tenant. So the global admin has the right to create root management groups or management groups, and within that, subscriptions are created, and within the subscriptions, resource group and resources are created. So in a kind of a demonstration, I'll be like a demonstration on Azure RBAC. So locate the access control blade. We'll review role permission, add a role assignment, explore PowerShell commands. So if we have time, I try to have this event for a 1 hour period. But if we have time, I will show you all this and demonstrate it. So we'll look at some labs. I have already some print screen of it on how to manage subscriptions on RBAC, how to manage governance via Azure policy, how to manage Azure resources with Azure portal. So managing subscription Azure RBAC, so lab 1 kind of a scenario. So to improve the management of Azure resources and controls, you have been tasked with implementing the following functionality. So using a management group for the Contour Azure subscription, grant user permission for submitting support requests. The user would only be able to create support request ticket and view resource groups. So task 1, implement management groups, create custom RBAC roles, and assign RBAC roles. So this is the architectural diagram. So you have task 1, tenant root group, and then you have the default Azure tenant, AD tenant, and in task 2, you have the custom definition role, the role assignment definition. And then in lab 2, you manage governance via Azure policy. So the lab scenario is just to improve management of Azure resources. In control, you have been tasked with implementing the following functionality. So tagging resource group that include only infrastructure resources, ensuring that only properly tagged infrastructure resource can be added to infrastructure resource group, remediating any non-compliant resources. And then objective, task 1, create and assign tags via the Azure portal, enforce tagging via Azure policy, and then apply tagging via Azure policy. So this is the architectural diagram. So task 1 is the name of the role and the volume, so infra, and the cloud share storage on the resource group. And then the task 2 is the policy creation. So which requires a tag and its value on the resources. And then task 3 is you have the resources created, so the cloud share storage account and a new storage account. So the Azure policy would inherit the tag. We inherit the tag in the resource group if missing. And then lab 3 is managing Azure resources with Azure portal. So you need to basically explore the basic Azure administration capability associated with provisioning resource and organizing them based on resource groups. So which include the resource between resource groups. So task 1 requires to create the resource groups and deploy resources to resource groups, and then move resources between resource groups and implement and task resource and test resource logs. And this is the architecture for the lab 3. So lab task 1, you have a disk, you have a resource group, AZ004-03A-ROG1, and there's a disk in it. And then in task 2, you move the resource. So you move this disk to this environment, this resource group, so ROG2. And then task 3, you have the disk again, and then you put a lock on it, resource lock on it. So this is the end of the presentation. I would look if there's any question, so we can proceed further on looking at how to control cost management in the Azure environment. If there's no question now, then I would, okay, Gosman. Sure.
Okay. Hi guys.
All right.
So I wanted clarity because basically the Azure management or Azure governance has actually been unclear to me on some certain things, like granting access to users. Like, so when you talk of governance, you talk about giving access to both users and systems. You know, it could be any of them, it could be your resource or your pipeline or anything. So when it comes to these things, I feel like there are different approaches towards this thing. And I'm talking with regards to like infrastructure. I don't know if infrastructure as code, I don't know if I could actually but there are resources out there, you know, Microsoft standard resources that actually talk about it. So I'm painted with this kind of situation whereby I have Azure, my Azure tenants, and then I have my Azure DevOps organization. And under my DevOps organization, I'm tasked with an overhead to manage users from both my Azure portal and my Azure DevOps portal. How can I know they both are working under the same Active Directory tenants, but how can I manage those two things, you know, when it comes to user management and working with my co-pairs as well?
So how do you want to manage both your own accounts, tenants, or
Yeah, my Azure, like let's take for instance, I have someone in my organization and is being given a contributor access.
Mhm.
And then I have someone in my Azure DevOps environment that's also giving another role, specific to Azure DevOps. So how can I basically manage these two platforms? Like these two platforms, is there an organized way of managing these two things? Because talk of onboarding, like you're onboarding the person into the organization, it's a different task. But when you are removing that person out of the organization, you simply will have to go and start removing things. Is there an organized way of managing these things? This is like my first.
Yeah. So basically, I'll just show you. Let me show you my Azure portal to make sense easier. Yeah. Let's log into Azure. Okay, so I have this national portal now. So I have this subscription here, this tenant. So the tenant, the Mystic Joe tenant. And within this tenant, I have subscriptions here. For now, there's no subscription. Say you have a subscription, you have a tenant and a subscription, and they have like a management group. So let's see the management group of this tenant.
Okay.
So a management group, like I say, management group is where subscriptions are located. So let's say there's a person. Let me see users in this one. There's a subscription. For this account, there's no subscription. Let me switch account to okay, this is my my Azure subscription with my MVP. So this is this tenant, Nessus tenant. And let's go to an account, no subscription. Subscription. And let's see if I can add. Let's take a do it through free trial. Okay, let me make something simpler. Okay, so you have these are like 10 different tenants. Directory. So this is a tenant.
Yeah.
And C job, well, I'll take this a tenant. A tenant is an organization. Or you can use interchangeably. Organization. So you can hear some people say, okay, I have an Azure organization on Azure portal environment. Or they use the word tenant. Then C job is a member of it. So let's say view accounts. And so for this one, this is another subscription. So this is a Nessus tenant. And CJ Ola is a part of it. Let's say if I want to remove CJ Ola from this, I would have to go to the management group level. Because CJ Ola is a user. and then you enroll the person from there. But there's no management group on this account. This is a free account. I can use my my work portal on this event, so it's not allowed for security reasons. So if this account has a subscription, paid subscription, you will see the subscription listed, and within the subscription, there are management groups on it. So, but the idea there is that, okay, instead of, say, you have somebody and the person create a resources on Azure portal, you don't have to remove the person one by one, just have to go and remove the person from the subscription level on the management group level. So when you disenroll the person, he or she goes out completely. Let me see if let me try another. I have some. Let me see if there's a free account I can use. So, I have my work account. I don't want to use it. It's not allowed.
Okay. I don't know. So we could probably bypass and see if I can get the solution to my headache. So okay,
no problem. Okay, I found this one, this account. So this account I have now, there's an active subscription here. Okay, as you can see, and this subscription, let's say I look at this subscription and see which members are under it. So let's see. I am rule assignments connection. So in this subscription, say let me enroll myself. Let me add role assignments on the subscription. Let's say I give my reader rights. Next. Okay. Next. A member. So use a member. You need to provide a member, okay? Member of. So these are different group membership. Let's say the member of, say, this. And I say select. And then next. And then review and assign. Now, okay, I'm a member of a group. I mean, I have a reader rights on this subscription. I'm a member of this group. I'm a reader rights. So let's say if I need to be removed from this subscription, the person with an admin right will go to management group level, for instance. Like I said, management group is where that encompasses subscription. So this subscription, Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, is under this tenant root group. So the person goes here, open the subscription, and then find all the members who have access to it and remove it. Alternatively, another way to do it is to go to active Microsoft Entra ID. So Microsoft Entra ID is the former name is Azure Active Directory. It goes here and find users. So these are users. I will select, say, this is you. I select, and then I delete you. But I don't have delete right because I'm a reader. I have a reader RBAC on this subscription. You understand what I mean? So these are all members. So in your case, these are all users in a tenant.
Yeah.
You understand my point?
Yeah.
So, and this is on a subscription level. So the Entra Azure AD encompasses is on top of resource group level, resource level, it's above a subscription level. It's on a management group level. So if I want to remove this person, I click here and I delete it. When I delete this person, I click delete. So the delete is grayed out because I have a reader right on this tenant, MCT Niger.
Yeah.
So basically, what you see here, this is my Microsoft MVP free subscription given to me by Microsoft. And I have 114 credits. I get 145 credit each 150 credit each month to consume. So these are all members of the MVP community. So let's say let's say if I myself Okpala. So this is me. And if I click delete, because I have a reader right, I cannot on the management group level,
Yeah.
or subscription level, I can't delete myself. Only the person with an owner right can do that. And when the person deletes me, every resource or any resource group, any resource I've created would I will not have access to anymore to any resource I created or even sign in to this tenant. So it goes automatically. It goes on AD level, Active Directory level. So the authentication and authorization I have, if I have like an MFA on how to sign into this environment, it also goes down to the DevOps environment. Say in an agile way of working, you do your deployments or code building on Azure DevOps. You run pipe CI/CD and stuff like that. Deploy Vim resources, via agent pool, for instance. I will not do anything anymore. It's a complete like automated offboarding. That's how it's done. So I don't know if you understand my point.
Yeah, I understand the point. Now, the thing I was pointing out here is that, you really explained this part very well to me. Now, the problem I had here was, how will I remove like this particular user, CJ Okpala, from here?
Yeah.
CJ Okpala is also a DevOps engineer, and is under my Azure DevOps
organization. Yeah.
If it's under my Azure DevOps organization, is there like an automative way of removing, like if I just click on CJ Okpala, let's say I'm offboarding CJ Okpala, it's no more in my organization anymore. Is there any automatic way I can just simply do that? Because right now I have to remove him from my Azure Resource Manager here. That's your identity. And then also go to Azure DevOps and look for CJ Okpala and also remove him there, making it like a repetitive process. Sometimes you might do one, forget one.
So you can have a script. You can develop a script on doing that automated. So you can run a script on subscription level. So you have often what organizations do, they use scripts to roll out subscriptions on a tenant.
So I can't do that from the tenant. Like I can't just remove him entirely from the tenant. Will I have to remove him from individual environments, like from the ARM, which is the Azure portal, and also from Azure DevOps projects, which is
So the DevOps project you're using is tied to your subscription. It's tied to a subscription. So let's say Ado.
I think
you understand what I'm
saying? Because you could have like production subscription and development subscription.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Azure Active Directory is above subscription. It's above the subscription resource group and resource.
Yeah.
It encompasses that. So knowing, let me see if I can go to Azure DevOps. Okay.
So,
Put me back to Azure DevOps. Okay. Okay. Now I'm in Azure DevOps. Let me see. Go to Azure DevOps environment. Yeah. Okay. Now quickly get an organization. Netherlands. Okay. Let's say UK.
so can I say something? So this
Yeah.
organization will not be tied to the one that MCT Nigeria is actually under, right?
It will be under it. It will be
Yeah.
under it. Yes. Because I have my the what do you call it? If I'm new to Azure DevOps, I have to create it newly but I signed in from my Azure environment. Do you see
So
when I
this,
entered?
this Azure DevOps environment is not like, I feel like it's like under your own tenants, Subscrptions tenants.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Tonight.
but you're under tenant because I'm a member. I'm a member of MCT. MCT Nigeria is a subscription. So the tenant itself, in which Subscrptions is this MCT Nigeria on Microsoft.com. That's the root tenant. So the domain in which this is actually the domain, so the tenant itself. So, but then because I have access, I can create as many organizations as I want and run pro. So organization within DevOps has different interpretation than organization in Azure portal environment. So organization in DevOps is a group to run projects. So you invite people to do development, create Azure boards, create work items, create sprints, create make CI/CD with Azure pipelines, create Azure artifacts or Azure test plans. But then for such people, for such individual to really leverage it, is that at the end of the day, you need a compute. The compute is now the subscription. So you need to have a what do you call it, connection strings that will tie you back to the subscription. I don't know if you understand my point.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So like you remember when you're actually using Azure DevOps, when you do a deployment on the CIC, you want to run your visual machine. When you after creating on Azure DevOps, when you go back to Azure, your Azure portal, it creates on your Azure portal. So, but then there must be the linkage. So let's see project. Subscrptions project. That's project name. Make it private. Create project. So in this project, you have the organizational setting. And you have users. So what you are saying is if there are users under this organization of Subscrptions, if you want to offboard them, yes, you can offboard them, but
Like
then
that,
you still
if add users, it might not identify other users. I think so. You can try you can try adding a user to it.
Mm-hmm.
You you're the only person on this user, because I think because I think you're under the same like CGL Pala tenant. That's what I feel.
Yeah, that's why. I can add user. Let's say Emeka. But then the funny thing, like I said, this if Emeka, this thing affect from Azure Active directly. If Emeka is under this tenant from Azure Portal, Emeka will automatically appear here and load up.
Yes.
You understand my point?
Yes.
Because I entered Azure DevOps from my Azure tenant, which is from MCT Nigeria. And where this information is coming up is from the AD, the members of that tenant.
Yes.
So if I pull them, so how do you want to pull them? So if you let's say I add Emeka, right, and he comes down here, I delete him from this organization. I only deleted him from this organization, but he can still do, if he has a contributor right on Azure Portal, he can still deploy things.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you understand the trick now?
Yeah, I do. So you just script up Terraform to automate the process.
Yes. So that's how organizations do it. When they create subscription, when they get management group, they use Terraform. They call it landing zones. So when the organization buys a tenant, a subscription from Microsoft, they don't do this by the GUI. What I'm doing now, they used Terraform script, which is automated.
Gotcha.
And when they want to pull out that person, they use the Terraform script and pull the person out. So, and they do documentation on how to do that.
Yeah.
So, and the documentation is always what you found under, say this organization. You go under wiki. You find all documentation. One of the documentation would include how to onboard people and how to offboard people. Yeah. So that's basically it.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Now proceed further with implementing cost management. So you can so while you're using the cloud, you need to understand the cost with resources. So you want to report back for billing purposes, or you want to know which department you're using much money or what. Say you're using a prepared or even enterprise license, costs need to be managed and controlled. So you just create a budget, and then you kind of do some kind of a recommendation, and then the data, like you see. So this is a snippet from cost management area within the Azure portal, and it gives you a breakdown of costs. So these colors are just depict which resources that is taking that cost, or location. So you can see in this case a location, in which location, so Western Europe, so entities that are spread across the globe. You can know which entity, which location is using most cost, and then the service name, which service, the human resource department service, or say manufacturing department service, or something like that. That you can get. Also, you can get cost estimation on which resource is costing more or less.
Okay.
So you can apply cost savings by buying Azure Reserve instances, so Azure reservation. So you save money and you prepay. So it's just like MTN. You buy MTN subscription, you recharge your MTN, you buy data, and you buy subscription airtime. And then the more you call, the cost go down. Or you can use hybrid benefits. So you can, if you have like a Windows Server license or SQL Server license from Microsoft on premises, Microsoft gives you a cutting on that. Also, Azure Credit. So you get like the Azure Credit benefit that allows you to experiment things and then you try things, or you can also use like a Azure Dev Test subscription, but it doesn't have much throughput. It just for organization, they want to test things, and if it works, then they can move forward and buy a proper subscription. Another way is to save costs to buy, choose low-cost locations and regions to run your applications. Say, for instance, the costs. Say you want to deploy a storage account and you're using the data center. You're hosting in a data center in South Africa. You're in Nigeria, and using the data center of Microsoft in South Africa. The cost you pay is different than the cost if you're running it on a UK data center. And that's how just the I think it's more about what do you call it? It's a mix of technical reason and also economic reason. Microsoft applies to that. So you already know how to implement role-based access control. So I will show you again my screen. Yeah. So home, subscription, subscription, resource growth, I can access my role assignment. I have a reader write. And if I want to assign, I can assign myself role assignment. Give myself a role assignment, reader write or contributor write or owner write, if possible. If I have the privilege, if on the management group level, I was given the right. And then lastly, how to determine RBAC. So RBAC determines whether you're owner, so you have full control of the resources and can delegate access to others, or you have a contributor right. You can create resources, manage all resources, but you cannot grant access to others. And then the reader right, you can only view Azure resources. You can't delegate or invite people or onboard people. And then you have user access administrators. So these administrators, they manage user access to Azure resources. So that's basically it.
Okay.
Come again?
Okay, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
So, I sometimes would host or gather a couple of people and teach them, cloud engineering and so many other concepts in the cloud. And some of the questions they asked, because I was giving them like my experience, and some of the questions they asked was, how do you get to understand or know the costs of a particular provisioning of an infrastructure? Like, how do you get to give, because everything works with numbers, you will not just do things without having a landing. So how do you get to preempt or imagine the cost of a particular infrastructure if they go ahead or start implementation, or let the management know about how much things will turn out to be? And I gave them the option of working with Azure pricing calculator, but I don't know if there is any other solution to that.
Okay, you want to know upfront how the cost of
your current infrastructure will be?
Well, basically, you could. What you can do is to first, let's say they want to use a virtual machine first to understand which resources they want to use.
Okay.
And let's say they want to use a virtual machine. Virtual machine have different SKU. Let's say a BT series of virtual machine. You could know the cost of it per month.
Okay.
From Microsoft, you can know what the cost will be based on which data center environment you're running it. Okay. Also, like you mentioned, you can use this calculator to do that, to assess. But then the funny thing there is that if you're using, say, a storage account, like you pay for storage, the cost of the storage, Microsoft charges you the data that leaves the cloud, not the data that comes in. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You pay for storage account, you pay for data leaving your environment and not coming in. So it's kind of you can use like Azure Monitor. Azure Monitor gives you advice. So you have already created the visual machine environment, or say on a B series environment. Microsoft can give you from Azure Monitor an indication what the cost would be, say in a month, a kind of a projection based on the usage, say on the usage 2 weeks ago or 1 week after the visual machine was provisioned, based on the movement, the traffic, the data coming in and going out. It gives you a provision, and then it tells you, okay, this is what to expect. But that is based on the usage. It must be started, be used. It must be used.
Okay. That question, that case, you have to have already provisioned the resources.
Yes.
Now
yes.
meets.
Yes. Yeah. So like the concept that even if you created a visual machine and you say you're not using it, you already pay. You're already paying for it.
Yes. Exactly.
You understand the trick? Yeah. So until you provision it, you have to provision it. But before you provision it, you can choose which SKU of visual machine you want to use. You can see series SKUs of visual machine.
So the answer to that question is you have to experience it before you can actually.
Yes. And that's why the B2 series is cheap, because when you're not using a B2 series, it scales down.
Oh, okay.
And then some there's I also have the one called visual machine spot visual machine VMs. Spot VMs is like VMs you can use when Microsoft just give it to you when they don't need it. When capacity is high in a data center, Microsoft will take it away from you immediately.
Yeah, and like you can't use that for business critical.
No, not at all. Not at all. Never. Not at all. Not at all. That's calamity. Or you could buy a dev test, right? A dev test subscription. Or in your case, what you can also do, you buy a prepaid subscription that is okay. It's gonna be 20 naira, 20 euros. And when that 20 euros is exhausted, it goes out. Nothing goes further. Or you could buy a regular subscription and then put a lock on a cost lock on it per department or per resource. And when that cost is reached, when that lock cost is reached, everything cannot be deployed.
That can be done with policy, right?
Yes, exactly. That can be done with this policy, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Yeah. It's a pleasure. Okay. Another question?
No other question from me.
Okay. Ihani, how are you doing?
No question for now.
Okay, no problem. Okay, guys. It was a nice evening.
Yeah, nice meeting you. Okola, you didn't share your social media handles.
What is it?
You didn't share your social media handles.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that on the chat. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, guys. Enjoy evening.
Yeah.
Take care. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.